Awesome. It is the beginning of day 3, the last day of the ICT4D conference. I'm here with you, Nekesa. Tell us, who are you?
My name is Nekesa, and I am the Director of Partnerships at Medic Afya. Afya is Kiswahili for health. At Afya, we build digital health systems in collaboration with ministries of health and implementers in Africa.
Excellent. And so, based on 2 days of the conference, what are your thoughts? What's it been like?
It's been refreshing. You're not often at a conference that calls itself an ICT kind of conference and just listening and experiencing actual humans and humanity in the conversations that you're having. So for me, it's been very refreshing to, yes, acknowledge that we are working in a tech space, an innovation space, but then mostly that we're humans working in that space and we are working to impact fellow humans. So I've loved it.
I think when we bumped into each other at lunch yesterday, you said something like that you'd found your tribe or you felt you'd come home.
Yes. Again, working for a tech company, a lot of your conversations are about technology, even if you're not a techie yourself. So I run partnerships. I'm all about relationships. I'm all about empathy. I'm all about community. And that's what I found here. And so to be able to immerse myself, yes, in all the great things that people are building, but then also for people to take a step back and say, how are we feeling? How are we working? How are we working together? What's important to us? Those are the conversations that I love to have. And that's where you really make that connection with people. And I think even when it comes to building technology, before you get there, it's first about the connections with the people that you're building it with. So yes, that's my tribe.
Yeah, awesome. Is there a particularly exciting or inspiring or thought-provoking thing that you've learned at the conference?
Two things. One was the very beginning when we were challenged to think about this more as field notes that we were sharing rather than case studies. And, when you write a case study, this is how brilliant we are and how brilliant our product is and how brilliant the output and outcomes were, which could very well be very accurate. But with the field notes this is who we are, this is what we set out to do, this is what we experienced, this is what went horribly wrong. These are the lessons that we learned that we want to share with everyone so you don't make those decisions yourselves. And so for me, that was very profound because it opens up a space for honesty and connection again, and just to be able to learn from each other. It's a non-judgmental, safe space where we're acknowledging we're working generally in the same space and things are going to go wrong sometimes, but what's important is the lessons that we learn from them. What's even more important is that we're willing to share those lessons. So I absolutely love that. And then the second thing, there was a speaker that spoke about when we are deploying solutions, what kind of thought process are we putting into it, what kind of empathy. And the example he gave was if you're working with drones and your solution is about using drones to help with access to medicines, are you considering that potentially considering where you're working, that might be a community that has been negatively affected by drones in the past, that has lost lives in the past to drones, And so when you are deploying a solution, just think about what that solution means to people. If it's a technical solution, how have they been affected by tech in the past? And what impact does that have on the way that you need to approach and convene and work collaboratively with them? And I thought that was so profound.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. In your work, is there a particular challenge that you're kind of grappling with that you're maybe hoping to get some inspiration on how to solve from here?
It's so funny because I was sharing the challenges of our work with a roundtable that I was a part of. And I was telling them that we just scaled at a very exponential rate, a lot faster than we had intended to. We had this big, flashy slides and presentations that we had for our partners where we'd say in 2 years or so, we're going to scale to 100,000 users for our product. And then things happened and our system got adopted by national governments. And suddenly it was, we need you to do this thing in 2-3 months. And so it's an exciting time, but then also you're thinking, oh my goodness, how do we scale so rapidly? And we did, because that's what the situation called for. We work in the community health space, and just all the pieces were coming together. You know, the policies were in place, the people were in place. You know, there was buy-in all the way to the leadership of the country, and so yes, it felt like the right time, and so the technology had to catch up. Yeah, but where we are now is that we acknowledge that we scaled rapidly, and there's a huge success story for what we've been able to do. But then also, in the spirit of field notes, what has gone wrong? You know, we now acknowledge that in order to scale more, there's a few things that we need to do to the system. There's a lot more capacity building that we need to do to the people. You know, there's maybe tweaks that we need to make to the policy. So what happens now? You know, and so it was really nice to be able to share that, and for people, one, to say, you know, have a pat on the back because you did something incredible. But let's sit down and figure out how we scale further from now. And so again, to just find the tribe that was willing to have that conversation with me was great.
Wonderful. Well, I'm really glad that you found your tribe here. Thank you so much. And enjoy the last day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.